Okay, let's get started again. Okay, now we come to quality, which has still still a huge driver of many projects, but has certainly gained a little bit in the light of design thinking, a little bit its rigor that it used to have. We have still a lot of quality assurance mechanisms that we use, and we have certainly not replaced that at all, but we have deregulated a lot of the quality mechanisms that we actually had. Yeah, it's a move of the globalization that we have done so, and you can probably see that in particular in countries that were strongly regulated in the past, that they have certainly moved away from a lot of solutions that are heavily regulated. So what is quality management for projects all about? It's really about meeting the requirements and needs of the stakeholders. Yeah, so it can be really broadly defined as being fit for purpose or conformance to the outputs or process. This definition has not changed in project management specific literature. If you look a little bit into project management, in particular engineering sectors, you see a very different picture. Yeah? So this needs to be reflected on the area that you're working in. Yeah? And the jeans example was a good one, because is the jeans still the same material? How does this jeans compare to the jeans that you wear? Oh, this is an ambiguous example. I wanted to give a long time range, but has that changed in the last 5 years? Jeans.
It's supposed to be 100% cotton, isn't it?
Oh, okay. You have already informed criticism, yeah? They are supposed to be 100% cotton.
Yeah. That's what jeans are. But at the moment, I think they've changed the quality of the material.
Yeah. In what way? So you have the suspicion that it's not 100% cotton anymore.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably some synthetics in it.
Yeah. So they have altered the material. They have used a different product. Yeah? This is certainly true. And they are made in a different way. Yeah? And that has as well an impact on how they actually feel and how durable they are. Yeah? So it has changed, but we still buy them. I can spot that a lot of you have jeans on. Yeah? This is an indication the market model hasn't died, but they have just transformed it. Yeah? Okay, quality management and project management are quite pragmatic. 4 elements are covered in it, and this is what we can kind of agree on in all industries. Yeah, so this is the smallest common denominator if you are not going into the specifics of potential industries. So quality management 4 processes. First of all, quality planning, quality control, quality assurance, and last but not least, the drive of continuous improvement. But this is kind of already added. Depending on the literature, this is actually not even covered. Yeah. So what is it? Quality management is founded on the requirements for quality expressed in measurable terms and acceptable criteria. We did this at the beginning of the semester. Yeah, success criteria. Then we had project success criteria, KPIs. This is kind of the driver that you're using. Yeah, if you can formulate even more accepted criteria, and that was under smarter or smart, yeah, then you have a good starting point. Then, of course, you have quality planning, yeah, prepares to achieve quality requirements and allows the project managers to manage the trade-offs between scope, time, and cost and quality. Sometimes it's, of course, not intended to be trade-offs. Yeah? It's supposed to be, with design potentially solved, but often it's used as trade-offs. Yeah? You have a baseline and you negotiate from what you're actually after as you implement it as well, potentially. Yeah? Quality assurance sits along the project lifecycle when it comes actually to the defining and the start of the project. So it provides confidence to stakeholders that quality will be achieved. It involves consistent use of procedures and standards, which supports the independent review and quality audit. It acts as a source for lessons learned for continuous improvement. So this is what you would take forward. You look again at the end when you, throughout the project lifecycle really, at where you are, but in the end you could use it, of course, as a reflective piece to actually improve continuously your indicators. Yeah? Within it is as well quality control. This is the inspection, testing, measurement, verifies quality, that project variables are specifications, fit for purpose, meet expectations. Yeah? With that, this is quite functional in a way as in a control mechanism, but I would really prefer to have there, it's as well a feedback mechanism. Yeah? So the control is probably the most common dominator and is applied in many industries, but in some industries we use that as well as an opportunity to feedback if we are on the right route, not just as a control mechanism. Control is implicit to that, but you can make more of it. And that is, of course, continuously as well through the implementation to the final product. Yeah? So there's an emphasis that you have to actually revisit that repeatedly. Quality success can be, of course, enhanced by using number of tools and techniques. Traditionally, this is kind of circular. It brings it back to the risk management. We come as well to that in an extra session where we actually talk about configuration management, a little bit as well project control and project steering. So I will go a little bit more into details that are probably more applicable to some industries than more others. It's not that refined in all industries. But there's a second notion of modeling and testing. We came already across it, and configuration management, and I will briefly define it here as well. Yeah, so this is a good starting point. So what is that configuration management actually? It can really be regarded as a asset control, if you want, or sometimes it's even used as like a sub-project control mechanism in terms of completion. That is so a little bit more complicated. Let's stick with the asset control for now. And at its simplest must involve version control. Yeah? So you're looking actually on which prototype are you building. Yeah? So if you have a project and you write a report together, everybody's working on their literature review, you have finished now your section on one theme. So this is version number 1. And then when there are topics finished that need to be interlinked to that, then there may be an update. Yeah? So this literature review has been edited with this other section that intercorrelates, so it's version number 2, that everybody knows where we are. Now this is literally the configuration management. We have quite colorful charts often as well for it. It's very good tool as well to visualize. Traditionally we do that then in CM planning, configuration management planning. It's first the identification, then the control, and by control it's as well a visualization tool that makes you actually aware where you are, and then configuration status accounting. So this is as well in terms of critical path potentially for your project, and then it's a configuration audit. Did your supply chain or team or other subcontractors actually play the game due to what was lined out and agreed? Yeah. So it's a very strong tool and worth an extra lecture. This has often been advanced in many industries into total quality, and most famously probably as total quality management, which is a strategic integrated management system for customer satisfaction that guides all employees in every aspect of their work. So this is really the focus that was quite popular a few years ago. Sadly I have to say, total quality is linked to continuous improvement, which is a good idea. It has not been a particular success in projects, especially in Anglo-Saxon industries, projects. This has been quite a failure. Yeah, you name it, Australia, America, Great Britain, even South Africa, a lot of our supply chain played around with this. It wasn't very successful. Where we have actually opted for other models there. Yeah, but they stay in the same vein. Yeah, so they're as well focusing on quality aspect. So you can see already where the limit is. It tends to be a company-wide issue and has often this internal look. That is where it's very good. When you go across the supply chain, it can be still good if you are the driver. Yeah. So if you at the head of the supply chain, and you are very powerful, then this can work. Yeah, but it gives you already a direction. Yeah, that you need to have a certain leverage to actually bring it in. However, it uses building blocks, which are, in my personal opinion, an essential good part to quality management, and I've drawn those out. So those are probably the ones that you can use forward, and I've broken it down in a simple, accessible manner. So what is actually quality? Again, a very applicable example, I hope. A copy watch with a flagging gold and good time. That could be one. Or if you think along the watch a little bit further, here gold Tissot as an alternative. It's just a brand, yeah. So it's a type of watch, made by a particular manufacturer. So what does it depend on to you? What would be a good watch? This is a question for you. Okay, you have another brand. You don't like the Swiss so much. Yeah. So it's a brand potentially. Yeah. And what does the brand stand for? Okay, so you have a status identification with it, yeah? So you clearly have understood that watches are a little bit more than just a watch, yeah? So there's potentially a status connotation with it. But what else? Performance. Yeah, I like that. What do you want with the watch? Oh, sorry. Give you the time, the accurate one, yeah? I have a colleague that the time he has to, it's a mechanism that is very innovative. No, it's actually quite old. You have to kind of like put enough spin, kinetic energy in, so it runs actually a whole day, and he forgets that on a regular basis. So he comes always with fascinating timing along, but it's a beautiful watch. Yeah? Clearly not functional for what he uses it for, but still, he's very frowned upon it. So in a way, not to be questioned. Well, it's of course it is whether what the customer wants, and we have already an idea what it could be. So if we look, watches are kind of hard. It's a tough one. Yeah, people have even personal connotation. If you come from a country like Switzerland or even in Germany, I think we are quite. I don't know why. It's a historic thing. They do like their watches. Yeah? You should be. It's a status question to a degree, and maybe not in the younger generation. I certainly don't wear a watch at the moment, but there's an implication with that. So what about the pizza? I've tried to break it down a little bit to go back to our portfolio idea. Yeah, what is the quality for a pizza? So tastes good, is huge, is hot, arrives on time.
Less calories as well. So you eat pizza and you don't put on weight. That's probably the most desirable thing.
Okay. Wait a minute. So tastes amazing, but doesn't put calories on or weight. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're gonna trade that pizza, you will be millionaire probably. You know, you can eat as much as you can, but don't put on weight.
I suppose that is probably a niche market, but there's certainly a market for it. Yeah, I can see that. I've seen that in a restaurant. That was a real surprise for me. It's here in Newcastle. If you're interested, it's Sisi. I don't know if you've been there. It's Italian on the. Did I pronounce that right? I probably have said it the wrong way. Zizi. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So Zizi has that actually. They have a pizza selection with low calories, and they are strange. I still haven't figured out what the symbol behind it is, but it's lower cheese and fat and calorie pizza. Yeah. So that could be an additional one. Certainly didn't come to mind when I was writing this slide. But tastes good, yeah, can we agree on this? Yeah, tastes good is a common one. Is huge, do you want a huge pizza? No, we have some disagreement. I was as well indifferent with it. Yeah, this came from my colleague. I have to blame Alex at this point. Yeah, he said like, I want a big pizza, and I was like, okay, how big? Huge. Okay, we go with huge. Okay, I was as well hot. Yeah, this was kind of important, but not too hot. Not that you burn your mouth. Yeah, that is a bad experience. Yeah, arrives on time. This was a. Are you particular about that? Are you happy to wait for your pizza 40 minutes? Okay, this came very quickly. Not happy with 40 minutes, yeah? So you better get it quickly. And this was a difficult one. Is as good as it was last time. Did you have that expectation? All the time. Okay. So you are. This is tough. I can see you would be a tough customer, yeah? Okay. And then, of course, the best value implication. But what is value in that context?
Satisfaction. When you pay money and you feel, okay, that was good. But when you pay money and then you don't feel that, oh, that was good, so that means it's bad value.
So there's a price for pizza implication, but there's as well a taste sensation implication against the price. Yeah. So for £40 pizza, tastes amazing. Would you go for it? Okay, this is kind of on the edge. Where's the price by here? £20? 10? 5? £9.99. But this has to be really amazing pizza, yeah? £9.99 amazing pizza?
Yeah.
Is this okay? £9.99? It's an expensive pizza, yeah?
Nearly twice the price if you got a pizza.
Pardon?
Nearly twice the price if you got a pizza.
It's twice the price of pizza. Then we have already, so best value is relative. All I try to point out at that point, yeah? So quality is a strange one on that one. And service puts customer first. This was what I came up, yeah? That you feel you smile, that you're welcome. Is that important? Alex he doesn't care as long as it's a wonderful pizza. So this is we both live at the coast, so sometimes the service is a little bit compromised there when it's very busy. Yeah, yeah, still I think it's very important too. Yeah, so there are different implications here with what quality actually means, and in my case it even goes out of the area of the pizza itself. It's the delivery of the pizza even, yeah. And how you're being treated in that environment. Yeah, so this is important to recognize. Okay, but yeah, different customers require different things or want different things in the same product. Yeah, we'll be at that now. So, important question to ask yourself really in quality management or quality and project management is who is the customer? Again, we are back at the stakeholder management. Anyone who supplies something to someone else could be this, yeah. The quality chain, of course, where does the value come from as well? And if it breaks, we all get let down. Yeah, so there's as well that notion, of course. And here are the customs documents. They are near enough. Sorry, your documents are not in order. Yeah, so there is as well a hygiene factor in this. Yeah, so and this has, of course, implications. So quality has to be built in from the start. Yeah, you can't like if you don't focus on that aspect, it's kind of a dilemma. Yeah, so as well with design solutions, there are sometimes smart words that can be a solution, but they may actually disappoint greatly. Yeah, it cannot be inspected in all the cases at the end, yeah? So we often have to look at it at the beginning, yeah? So there is an input notion, and ensuring quality is a two-way process, of course. Yeah, supplier meets customer requirements, but customer makes the supplier's job as easy as possible too. Yeah? So when you, of course, arrive at it at the beginning, it's easier to be incorporated, but the customer may not actually know what it is, what they are looking for. Yeah. Without a process of mistakes, it's actually not possible. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to avoid mistakes, but you have to be prepared to actually deal with them. And with it, of course, you people have to want to produce quality. I don't know why that is. In the UK, when I come often to project management sites, or we went to Heathrow, to the Terminal 5, to actually see the construction, and I was shocked when I spoke to the project managers. I went there with a friend from the Association for Project Management, and we had an interview with a project manager and the team. It was a whole raft of portable cabins, basically, for office space. We asked, why are you doing this project? And the direct answer was to make a product, to make a profit. And they hadn't worked on a project like that before. They worked on that project because they had acquired another company to actually work to build future airports. So this was kind of a project to change strategic direction. And that is, of course, that is a dilemma. And has anybody been in T5, Terminal 5, Heathrow? How is it, comparison to other airports?
To be honest, it looked to me quite similar to another airport in England.
Yeah?
It's kind of standard terminal.
Have you tried to find the train or the bus?
Yeah, train. I mean the underground, you mean?
Yeah?
Yeah. It was quite easy. Why?
Really?
Yeah.
When did you do that?
When?
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Okay. Fair enough.
Why?
Anybody used it before 2 years ago? There's a story to it. Literally, the signage was not consistent. They had given it to different contractors, and the symbols were not the same. The signs were not the same. What can you do now? Did you look on the floor?
No.
Oh, you went by the signs?
Yeah.
Or you experienced in reading different signs?
Yeah.
This is pretty good. I flew there quite a few times and via the airport, and
maybe because if you go to Terminal 5 by train, and then obviously you go there and then you remember the way you came in, isn't it? And then it's easy to go back.
Oh, so you knew the
so
way.
If you maybe arrival from another country,
Okay.
that's maybe another kind of experience.
Okay.
Sure
So you arrived by train. You
Yeah,
knew where the
then-
train is. Yeah, this is slightly cheating then. That doesn't count. Yeah. No, but actually they have changed it. Yeah. But the point was, it was poorly designed. Yeah. There were loads of tourists. Their first impression of London or Heathrow was that they couldn't actually find the transport where they had to go. They did that now with color coding, and you have kind of stickers on the ground that lead you where you need to go. Yeah, that is a new invention. But the signs, have a look actually, if you fly from there, it's actually quite difficult to get your head around it. Yeah, the symbols are different for underground, for example, or they have as well a train connection. Yeah, the symbols are kind of the same. They just have as well different arrowing systems. Sometimes the arrow is before, sometimes behind, and it has caused a lot of headache. Yeah, but of course, if you go in like this in a project, then it can go terribly wrong. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Profit is of course the baseline, but we should go beyond it. Yeah. Everybody needs as well a well-defined customer. That was another one. I have quite a few projects where when you ask who is the customer, that there are like big question marks, and that is quite problematic. And the price of quality is continuous improvement drive, of course. Yeah. So you examine as well customer needs along the process, that you don't run in the wrong direction. With this, you have as well quality processes. It moves the emphasis from the outputs to the inputs. This is normally particularly favored in German-speaking countries. Yeah? We design pretty much everything by just focusing on having good ingredients going in. This has as well certain difficulties, but just to talk you through, output-based systems are about detection, check and reject. They are wasteful as well. This is a huge issue. Have we done it properly instead of can we do it properly? Do we have the right resources that go in? And process transforms inputs into outputs. Many of them go on simultaneously, of course, in an element like that. So the input versus output debate is a huge one. You can even see that in a lot of like products that are coming out more recently. Yeah, so the iPad, for example, was as well focused on the inputs rather than the output. Yeah, so touch screen combined with other features and smart apps what was a part of the ingredients. Yeah? So the focus was reversed. If you're interested in the product, they have actually done this on the web page. You can have a look at it. That is actually quite cool. With the quality processes, we have as well, actually I had that already. I wanted to actually add the 2 points at the bottom. It's detection is replaced, of course, by quality assurance when we go this step further. Yeah, and then the products are the outcome of an effective system. Yeah, and this is of course what you are after. If you do that, you arrive at this simple cycle. It's define, monitor, and control, and it's of course focused around what brings customer requirements and the satisfaction to them. Yeah, that the output is actually what they're looking for. So the questions that often pop up in project teams are kind of the wrong questions along those lines, but you come across them all the time. Are we capable of doing the job correctly? Have we done the job correctly? Do we continue to do the job correctly? If there is evidence to show the answers are yes, then we do not need to detect any problems. Is that correct? Is it correct? Is it a trick question from Robert? Well, basically the process is a replacement of those questions, but often they are still being asked. Yeah, so if you have the right process, you can remove this more or less. And we do that, of course, by quality control, quality assurance. So quality control can, of course, only be done at the point of work. Inspection is not quality control. So quality control really focuses on monitoring and finding and eliminating problems. And some systems, like lean systems, you even have like a stop notion, an alarm when you actually arrive at a problem where everybody stops to do actually what they're doing and comes to actually assess the problem. Yeah. So and that is a very powerful tool. You have to refine it, of course, to your project or products. Yeah. This is very important to recognize. This can normally be done quite easily. The customer and supplier chain is the core of the total quality management, of course. Total quality needs systematic planning. Yeah? So you have to look at the product flow. You won't get around that. Tools for measuring and sustaining quality. This depends a little bit on the industries. We are focused here on different measurements. Yeah? So depending on what you're interested in, you have to basically go in with the keywords and have a look at what's applicable to your industries. Yeah? Teams and organization for quality is a very important one. Communication between all parts, commitment of the organization, of course, and recognition and perhaps cultural change in some cases. Yeah? Especially if you go for something like Lean or Six Sigma. Where do those come from? What does it mean? What is Lean actually? Lean thinking? What is it?
Make processes more efficient.
Yeah, so what is it?
Reducing waste, trying to reduce waste.
Yeah. Lean thinking is, of course, a quality assurance mechanism, yeah? It's a quality improvement commitment of a company. And where does it come from, Lean?
Japan?
Yeah.
Not from Toyota.
Yeah, it's adapted from the Toyota way, yeah? Yeah, but on which company? Yeah. Yeah, you're quite right. Yeah, so the study was done in America. Yeah, and it was, do you remember the institute? Berkeley University was right. Pardon? No, No, it was in Berkeley. Yeah.
But
It was basically Advanced Manufacturing Institute there. Yeah? And they had looked at it for quite some time. But be aware, the lean way is of course fitted to a Japanese culture. Yeah, so there are implications to this.
can it be relevant to English culture?
You can adapt it, yeah. We have many companies that have done so successful. We have some where it's still a debate point. Yeah, so Nissan, for example, is Japanese, and if you talk to the people that work on the line or support the line work, it's a lot of it is automated with robotics. But when you actually look at it, they will tell you that they often feel that they are left alone. Yeah. In some other companies, it works better. So it depends really how well this has been implemented. And they don't call it lean in Nissan. Yeah, they have called it their own terms. Yeah, so don't get confused with that. It has been rebranded in a lot of ways. Six Sigma, what is that? Yeah, same idea. Again, a quality mechanism. It's the Ford version of a quality improvement mechanism. They contradict. Don't apply both. That is when you create a lot of chaos potentially. Yeah. Maybe an interesting comparison if you want to go in one of those industries. There's a lot of potential. There are many more. Yeah? This is really depending on the industry. In some countries where we are really driven on that. Yeah? Okay, 3 elements from the support band around the core of customer and supplier. These are the tools, tools, teams, and systems really to look at. If we look at that, around those 3 there is of course an outer band and elements that gives the organization its character, influence, long-term plans. These are of course commitment, communication, and culture. So it reflects a little bit back into problems that we talk with supply chain management. Commitment, are you in a one-off project, or are you trying really to create lasting value in an endeavor that you are on for longer? Is it a partnership, or are you a preferred subcontractor? Yeah, or is this actually one organization maybe? Yeah, that happens this way quite often. So commitment and culture. Commitment is not the status quo or unquestioned loyalty, but it can of course, and it cannot be imposed really from the top. So it needs harvesting and as well of course cultivating. So it's how you're interacting with each other. Yeah. And of course as well be driven from bottom. This is what is often referred to. Top management often develops a vision and sets up the organization as well. Yeah, so if you have actually at the top enormous cost or return on investment drive, then sometimes it's very difficult to actually maintain those mechanisms sufficiently. Middle management devises ways of meeting the mission by identifying key processes which need changing. Then the workforce uses its expertise to decide how their own processes can be improved, and it takes time for the Big Bang to actually happen. So it's a networking effort, and you do here incremental change. So initially those quality mechanisms do provide like enormous jumps, but then you're of course refining and the changes become more incremental. So if you have then large changes in the industry, that is often quite challenging to do. But you get better with time. If the company culture itself does not allow ideas to develop, then total quality will actually fail quite drastically. This is as well what happened quite often in the construction cases that we actually researched. It was not well applied. And supply chains or subcontractors seem to go actually where the money is, and that meant as well that often the intent changed enormously, in particular in construction. In other industries, they have just refined it, so they moved actually towards lean because it's a one-stop shop. Whereas with total quality management, you still have not solved all the other elements. The culture is made up of the shared beliefs about how business is done, how employees are treated, and how they behave. So if there's a conflict, like what I mentioned, for example, different cultures having different leader examples, then you are in a deep dilemma. Yeah. To guarantee consistency of product, you can check the way it is made, audit it at every stage, and the rules, the Auckland rules that come along with the total quality management books is no process without data collection, no data collection without analysis, no analysis without decisions, no decisions without action, including doing nothing. This is why a decision. Yeah? I hope that makes sense. Okay, this is my brief run into quality management. Oh, and I now have actually a case example that I researched with colleagues, where we go a little bit into the resource management, but it overlaps with quality management. I wanted to look at Airbus. We had a guest speaker here for quite some time, and I have adapted some of his slides, but I did realize that when we went into the company of Airbus, it was very different to what we actually got told initially. So Airbus had certainly a turnaround. He was very happy. He was really trying to promote his company, and what we found was not what he told us. So there was a slight disparity. But nonetheless, they did actually great stuff with a sense of resource management. So understanding, here I'm not so much interested in the different compartments that they're building, and the different plane parts, but more into the social side. The resources and capability of the project team to actually progress in terms of being equipped to perform what they're doing. Yeah? So understanding the social side is a very important part. And here we have often the question of a competent team. Yeah? How do we arrive at that, and how is it actually sourced, and how can we maintain this? Yeah, this is a difficult one. What should they contain? Should all disciplines be involved? Is it good that you have like an expert that is an engineer, you have an aerospace expert, you have like a technician and so forth, or do you actually look for something else? And the implication is already the next question: what type of people do we need? Do different levels of teams need different disciplines and or types of people? And let's actually explore that on aerospace. Yeah. This is a little bit the chart how they often have their product life cycle. This is the presentation that I got from them, so you have to stay with me there. You have often the product inception, and as you know, Airbus is often manufactured, so the projects are often driven towards change or developing new types. So they have different projects there. This is very simplified. You have as well then a notion afterwards. At the project level, they actually kind of identify as well what projects they potentially need to do in the future. That is already a system that is quite good. It shows you as well at a functional level where you need to go. With this, it often goes then into flight physics, so this is a little bit out of our scope, yeah, but aligned with it, you actually recognize at the project level the systems, the design, the structures, and as well manufacturing requirements, but this is often done again in their continuous manufacturing plant. Then you have, of course, a preferred procurement. They do a lot of subcontracting too. Yeah, it's not all supply chain management. Well, I suppose this is well supply chain management, but by subcontracting, I mean they don't go all for alliances or partnerships. And then it comes, of course, to the production. And potentially then after the production it comes to the first flight, and then they have even support and service where they actually follow it through, and then entry into service, that is actually when they go live and actually guide the planes that have been bought with the companies through their lifetime. Yeah? And then they take it as well out of the service. So if you're interested to see a graveyard of planes, there are quite a few spectacular locations in America and one in France, and one in the Czech Republic. In Czech Republic, it's more smaller planes, but it's a freaky image. Yeah? So if you want to get an impression, take a train from Prague to Brno. That is when you have a very long journey along it, which is very strange. Then you have, of course, a product integrity, which is, of course, maintained along the lines, research technology, planning and control, human resources engineering. They have that, of course, all in their company, and it goes across the supply chain. Yeah? So they're actually very driven on that. So how do they actually select their team? Yeah? So how do they pick them? Why do they want to have particular people in your... Why would you? Why would you have a... What kind of people would you like to have in your team? And why that type of team member?
Smart.
Smart, I like that. Oh, wait, is that specific? No, it's not that smart. Okay, smart, yeah?
Professional. Hardworking.
Hardworking, I like that. Is that good, hardworking? I have a colleague that is always saying, like, don't have a hard-leading leader. This is always bad. He wants always probably the longest and most painful way. Yeah, so that is quite scary sometimes. Yeah? But the hardworking is still a good attribute. Yeah, smart. Or what else? Experienced. Okay. Why experienced? What is good about that?
So obviously if they've done similar things before, they can build on what they've already done and put it into the new project.
Yeah. So there some experience in similar areas, maybe not the same, but yeah, it's a very good one.
Knowledgeable.
Knowledgeable. Okay. Yeah. I would have added that as well to smart probably. Yeah, but I like the differentiation. Yeah. Yeah. Dedicated. Yeah, committed. Yeah. This is already quite good. You recruit good teams. Anything else?
Diversity.
Diversity. Yeah. What were you thinking in diversity?
Well, engineers and also expertise,
Okay.
leaders that maybe doesn't have that much
Yeah.
technical background.
Yeah. So different professions, yeah, different skill sets, but at the same time maybe different background. Yeah, this can be as well quite powerful. Yeah. Anything else?
Flexible?
Yeah.
Flexible.
Flexible. What do you mean by that?
Be flexible depending on the circumstances. The circumstances could change.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so how to know how to face a problem in a new environment or...
Problem solving oriented. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Flexible as well in a sense maybe from timing and commitment. So we had a few. This is often what we actually did find. Yeah, this is slightly questionable. This is actually from a survey, and yeah, the quick answer is this is what we found. This is kind of bad. Yeah, this is not Airbus actually how they recruit, but this is what we found in many teams how they were actually recruited together. A close friend, someone you admire from past projects, yeah, good technical skills, that was very good in my mind. Good people skills, makes decisions quickly, experience, female, male, yeah, so diversity as well on gender, and easy to boss around. That was an interesting one too, yeah. Of course, there are dangers with this, yeah. So the drawbacks were what you didn't want. It's not too challenging, not too aggressive, not a team player, too techy and sad. This was an interesting connotation. I was not broken about that, but okay. Too new to the company, yeah. So yeah, no mix, female or male. We had one case that was actually quite dramatic. Yeah, there was one poor individual that didn't fit into the gender category, and he had a really tough time. So that was kind of a disaster. And too senior for available role, that is as well daunting. And friend of the boss was the worst. Yeah. So that is when you are perceived to have the spy on the team. So this is very bad. So with this often. We actually looked at eligibility criteria. This is a formal way. Yeah, we identify qualifications, relevant experience, references from past projects, yeah, and acceptability at interview. Yeah? So you test this well for commitment. You check if they are willing to do, and you know, as an interviewee, you want to give those impressions. You are probably committed anyway. Yeah? So we are on the safe side. But often, when it comes to the performance criteria, we are after aptitude. Attitude versus aptitude, yeah, this is a duality here. And then versatility. Well, what is that? Being versatile? What does it stand for? I've used weird words. I should have really updated that. What is versatility?
Being able to do multiple things well,
Yeah.
complete multiple tasks as well as
Yeah.
professional. You can just
Yeah, that another job doesn't run you down. Yeah, so in other words, that you can do multiple things at the same time to decent standard. And then you have, of course, assessments. For example, how you performed in a skill, often done by your maybe line manager. In some cases, it's maybe even the project manager. And then role fit with those adjunct to the job. Yeah, so if you have collected them in a certain way, then you have it with it. So how are teams actually formed and disbanded? Well, do they just join the team when they are available? This is of course a question. Yeah? Often, well, those were the questions that we really asked, but there was a quick answer to it. The functional way forward was really using something like Maslow to arrive maybe, not Maslow, to arrive at a harmonious team environment, but the questions actually showed us that this is often not happening. Yeah, so this has to be driven by the project manager. This is often you that drives it. Yeah. So and this was another important part. Project manager as a solo leader versus team leader. Who prefers team leader? Oh, this is very few. Who is not participating? Oh, this is bad. So, who believes in solo leaders? Okay. Yeah, we had jokes about this, but solo leader in big companies that are quite large, this is sometimes a preference, but team leader approach is actually what becomes more and more dominant. Yeah, the more professionalized and smart and knowledgeable they are, the more it actually drives towards a team leader. Yeah, there's still a big difference. There was a big difference actually between the British and the French branches, which was quite interesting. Airbus itself has like multiple functions, so this is how they collect their teams. Yeah, so it's functional leadership versus operational leadership. So you can see engineering integration centers versus centers of competence. They have mapped it both out. Yeah, and they're selected then accordingly. In this multi-layer matrix of management, they have as well different teams. So you have actually component design and build teams versus integration design teams versus component management versus aircraft component management team. And then last but not least, you have actually the plane. Yeah? So it's quite intense, quite steep. But you can see they actually sub-layer it. And that is literally what they identify as their capacity. Yeah? So Airbus has a supply chain capacity that can as well adjust to new challenges. And that was quite a fascinating one. Where are we time-wise? Oh, okay. So when you come down to being successful, it was quite interesting to see that what was needed was a clear set of objectives and timescales, a single person accountable for team's deliverables. This can actually work through the roles. Yeah? A person who takes responsibility for resource issues, and a person who takes responsibility for project management, of course, project manager supposedly. Yeah? Some innovative team members. This was a diversity notion. Yeah? Appropriate technical experts, and people who are simply workers. Probably the majority. Yeah? So this was a commitment, hard working. That was very important. Then as well, good visibility of their suppliers and customers, and then mutual tolerance and respect. This was kind of the most important one, especially if you work in an international context, as those guys do, then this is a real driver. I've as well a little bit on the electrolyte, how they actually manage it, but I will leave that a little bit behind. You can have a look at this. Yeah, so they looked as well at how data was communicated, and some is more useful than others, so that automated a lot. Here's my list of what was actually the essentials. Yeah. have a look, the last one, very important. Yeah. So high level of technical skills, of course, leadership skills, so forth. We had them all, but very important is to keep in something like that, of course, a sense of humor, especially if it becomes a driver. If you those were as well the ones recognized actually as desirable in new recruitees. Yeah. So in a way, it's the same. If you can develop those, you are likely to get a job as well with those companies. That as well, knowledge management implications. This was something that I had to add. Let me finish the last one though. Oh, no, actually we can leave it with that, I suppose. Yeah, any questions at that point? Sorry, I run out of time again. Yeah.
So, from what you said so far, resource management, will you associate them with people needed?
At the project level, it depends. Yeah. So in a company like this, it's people-focused, the project management, because you have actually resource management allocated in its units. Yeah. So the project functions as a mechanism to coordinate it. In the construction side, the resource management goes often to the site manager. Yeah. Or if you're the project manager and site manager, then that may fall on you too. But this is very specific then. Yeah. Yeah.
I was just checking, didn't verify. I was thinking, all right.
Oh, I see. No, yeah, that's true.
Send the information over from the...
Yes, please. This is focused on, of course, on resource management. Did you look at case studies? Yeah, we were focused on that in project management. But if you look at small projects, you know, if you run a restaurant or you bid your own course, of course you have to account for your, yeah, exactly. So then you, have you had a look at a fishbone diagram? That is a formal Japanese way of identifying it. Then you look at materials, people, processes, management. It's 6 in total. But just have a look at fishbone. And they structure it. Yeah. And I raise it as well a little bit when we come to project control. I show you actually what is done in manufacturing, and they do materials. So materials, plant.
Resource management.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you have a project organization and you have, for example, construction plant, you're going to skip. Yeah. Well, any kind of machines, you know, truck. This is of course counted in the resources. Some materials are as well assets, you know, steel for example, resources like that. They have an asset value, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what my confusion was. So I was actually waiting for this laptop. And then after
no, yeah, you will see in literature it's just the human side. Sorry, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that I initially wanted to say, hello, how are you doing? And then I realized that you were really quite
No, it was okay.
Yeah? Okay, good. I felt like I actually interrupted you late or something, you know.
Oh, no, it's my boyfriend, I'm living with him, so it was not like a date or anything.
Okay, good. Okay.
Okay, it's fine. I was wondering, in our video project, I have to do the quality management part, so I was just